the last 15 minutes here, let's talk about LeBron James here. Because speaking of retirement, there's some people that think that LeBron James should retire.
Yeah.
Now, the question that we have right now is Is LeBron James' recent struggles a sign of a decline or a slump? And should he retire indeed after this NBA season? And Zay, the mic is yours.
Yeah, so to answer the first part, I think it's just a sign of a slump. Decline is a stretch. He's still preparing every day like his last. LeBron James was never an elite 3-point shooter. The fact that he's missing a couple threes is actually normal. That's who he is as a basketball player. He's more of a guy who's a scorer, drives into the paint. And it's just, the shot's not falling. I think it's just he just needs to continue shooting them, and it'll eventually get knocked down one point or another. But it's tough when LeBron James, all you know is excellence from him. He has a couple bad shooting slumps, and the first thing people are saying is a sharp decline of his skill, and I don't think that is that just yet. I think just he needs to continue working. To answer the second part, I do believe he retires after this season. I think the job was done when he brought LeBron into the league. The hype of father and son playing on the same team, that has come and gone, and I think that was just a goal to play on the team at the same time as his son. I think once that goal was accomplished, that was it. I don't think they're gonna wait for Bronny to come into the league. That'll be another 2 seasons. That would be kind of ridiculous. I don't know how close he would be, or even how far along he would be physically to play 2 more seasons in the NBA. In that regard, I think this is his final season. But yeah, I just think right now he's in a shooting slump, and I think we're gonna see another revitalized version of LeBron James during his NBA Cup that's coming up, and then for the second half of the season.
Yeah, so let's get to the basics here. As I pull up LeBron James himself. Not the real LeBron James, but a highlight. Okay, sorry, gotcha. All right. LeBron James would never come on 99 Pod because he ain't gonna like what I'm about to say. Now look, it's really nothing else for him to prove. He went the highest of levels multiple times. He has a lot of accolades, and he got to play with his son. He got his son drafted. You know, he literally took control of the Lakers front office and kind of dictated, basically his vision for the team since he got here. And you look at the numbers, and to an extent, I agree. He was 0 for 19 from downtown in the last 4 games overall. He shot 21.8% from deep in the last 10 games. But we all know that when talking decline, shooting is the last thing that goes, right? So basically, I expect him to bounce back shooting. I don't think, because his shot is not falling, he's done. No, that's the last thing to leave when you are declining. Your legs is normally the thing that goes first. But you look at the responsibility that he has running the offense with the Lakers, right? Especially with the benching of D'Lo, is more responsibility. And I think because of that responsibility is leading to more turnovers. I mean, 57 times this year in the past 11 games, he turned the ball over. That doesn't sound like a good ratio to me. He's no longer an unstoppable freight train in transition. He could barely defend in transition, or at least the effort is not there. And the Lakers are not a good defensive team. They're not really built to be a defensive team, even though they have a guy like Anthony Davis. So LeBron James is not going to help you out with that because clearly over the years, his defense has taken a hit. I remember the days, especially when he blocked Andre Iguodala, that famous Game 7 Warriors and the Cavaliers, where he blocked him from behind and he's able to get up like that. And maybe he could still do that on a, case by case, every once in a while. But he's clearly not the same defender that he was. And he's being required to do a lot more than he should at this age on the Lakers. And we have to admit that not only is LeBron James declining in those areas, but the league itself is declining. That's another conversation for another day. But I would say this, Zay. The amount of 3-point shots that is being took around the league, right? We have to realize that back in Michael Jordan's era, and those guys that played at that time, all he had to do defensively was basically stand in front of their man. It was not a lot of, get back and make sure you guard the 3-point land, and get back in, guys are doing that, there's a lot of wear and tear along with the scoring on the other end. And that's why we see a lot of injuries across the league because guys are not standing there defensively because of all the spacing in the ground that you have to cover on a defensive end, along with if you're one of the best players on the team, the number one and number two, that you got to produce on the offensive end. So when people talk about, oh, why are guys getting hurt? And credit to LeBron James, he's been Iron Man prior to this point, but he's getting hurt a little bit more compared to him in his prime. Oh, why are these guys getting hurt? That's because of the wear and tear. The game is long. The season is long, 82 games, and you got to play both ends, and it's putting a lot of wear and tear on your body. So I think because of the era that LeBron James playing in, even with modern medicine, even with his persistence in taking care of his body, eventually he's going to break down. And I know last year he had a very good year. He had a very good first round. I thought he was probably the second best player behind Nikola Jokic in that series against the Nuggets, and clearly probably was arguably the best player in the Olympics and all that. But that's how Father Time works. You could be the best player in the world today, and tomorrow you took a step back. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He won back-to-back MVPs in the NFL a couple years ago. He shot. That's Father Time for you. Father Time is not something that you commonly see somebody deteriorating as they're aging. No, if they're a very elite player, one year they could be good, the next day they shot. So yeah, that's my first lap.
Yeah, it's like difficult when we talk about LeBron because he's entering territories we've never seen a player at this age do, right? He's averaging 20, 28, 25. And he's just doing a lot. There's a lot happening on his court right now that he hasn't done in a while. And I think the way he's playing under JJ Redick's system is not really for him to set up and get into rhythm. It's kind of like allow the guys around him to shoot and allow him to score at a better magnitude. I think when we watch the way that JJ Redick operates and how they play, it's a lot of motions, a lot of different things that allows LeBron to kind of just spot up and do different and play differently, and make certain reads and things of that nature. And I think when these are happening, and the way the play is going on is not set up for him to shoot up, spot up, and shoot threes. Like he's taking a lot of the threes he takes is tough shots. They're contested threes, so it's not like he's wide open. So I think it's set up for him to find open man, get the open man the ball, and to operate. I think it's interesting what's going to happen for the rest of the season because it's still early in the season, a quarter of the season in, I believe, 20 games in. And I think as the season progresses, you're going to see the three-point shots start to fall, but in more volume. I think last year he was shooting one of his, I think, if not career high in three-pointers attempted. So I think now he's taking a lot less threes, and we're seeing more misses. We're starting to see like, oh, well, his percentage is down, but also he's taking a lot less threes than he was per game last year.
I mean, look, clearly he had a goal this year, which was to play all 82 games, which I thought was just idiotic considering his age, and by that, that kind of hinted to me that indeed this is probably his last year by him saying that. Because if you want to play longer, you would not hold yourself to that standard at that age, right? So that's number one. It's not hard to read these things, folks. Okay, it's not hard to really dissect these things. He's telling you that this is his last year, and it probably should be his last year. With all due respect to Mr. LeBron James, okay? Now, there is no COVID bubble season break for Bron to rest before he goes on a run like how he did with the Lakers. Another thing we have to consider when talking about if he should retire or not, what is he getting out of playing basketball right now? He already took care of his son. He competed for a championship, really? I mean, I think that was it. The bubble with him and Anthony Davis, that was it. Everything set up perfectly. Okay, for a guy like AD that was injury prone, for a guy like LeBron who was getting older, having that break, everything just worked out for them that year. They won it. I'm not trying to, take away from that championship by saying that, but it worked out for them. They won it. That's it. It's not going to happen. Okay, so we have to take that in consideration. And comparing LeBron to MJ real quickly here, right? Because a lot of people will bring MJ in this conversation when comparing him to LeBron and all that. Right now, once again, credit to LeBron for not gambling, okay, for not smoking cigars like Michael Jordan did, which is why Michael Jordan, when he got to Washington, Okay, the Wizards when he was 40, he was shot career lows in all categories. That's because he didn't take care of himself. That's because he was smoking cigars. That's because he was getting in tune with the mob. That's because he was out here gambling. Okay, gambling his soul. LeBron James clearly, took care of himself, and that's why his longevity, is his backing. It's literally up there with his prime, right? But when we judge, who's the GOAT and who's not the GOAT, I tell people this all the time. We cannot judge people by their back end because it doesn't make sense. Everybody's, father time is different. Guys age differently. And a lot of that is how you invest in your body. I get it,
Yep.
but we cannot compare. We got to compare primes. We got to compare peaks. I'm hearing a lot of people comparing Jordan and LeBron. We can't do that. Two different eras,
Hmm.
right? They handled themselves differently. The game is differently. So LeBron James is his own case. And right now, based on what I'm seeing here, he's falling off a little bit. And I'm not saying that he's not going to go off tomorrow or whenever the next time they play. I don't know when they play again.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I'm not saying he's not going to go off and shoot the bricks off the gym because that part of it is probably just a slump. Like I
Yeah.
said, shooting is the last thing to go. But getting back in transition defensively, being that freight train that he was in transition, mowing guys over, he doesn't impose that same fear around the league that he did in his prime. And that's a sign that he is declining. And it's probably time for him to hang it up. And he knows that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like I said, he's had a phenomenal career. I think the last domino was getting his son into the league, which was big because Bronny wasn't really ready for the league, right? Bronny was. We all knew Bronny was not ready to be in the NBA, and his name was attached to LeBron James, and LeBron James, whatever he says goes, and the organization brought him in. So I think that was like the main thing, the main component, and I think that's something that once he got that through, that was it. And I think that's now I think he's done. It's like essentially his career is done. I just think you even see it on the court. He's fatigued and things of that nature. But more than so is like he accomplished everything you can in the league. He's not going to get another MVP. A championship is still up in the air depending on who you play against and how hot you get throughout the season. Yada yada yada. But the point is, you've done everything. Now you can ride off to the sunset because you've done everything you possibly could achieve in this league, and that's it.
Yeah, and it's time for the new. It's time for the new. Unfortunately, and this is why I end off, Zay. I'm gonna end off here. And you could respond to it if you please. But unfortunately, the NBA as a whole is declining with LeBron James. And I'm not sure how good of a look it is. Is there anybody American? I'm not talking about Jokic, you excluded, you're not American. I'm not talking about Giannis, you excluded, you're not American. I'm not talking about all these other guys, Luca, excluded, Victor, excluded, you're not American. Who is okay? Because Steph is old now. I mean, he's still that dude, but he's getting older. Have we seen anybody American that has taken the baton fully? Because Anthony Edwards is supposed to be that guy, but clearly, I'm not sure if he's ready for that yet. Like, I think he's there, and he will probably be the guy that I will probably still believe in to take that baton from LeBron James once LeBron James is out of here. But like, do you think that Anthony Edwards is ready for that? Like, what is the current state of the NBA right now? Because I think LeBron James is declining the NBA as well. Clearly in the ratings, clearly in the game itself, and how guys are opting to play. Not a lot of diversity, not a lot of different shot selection. What are your thoughts on the current state of the NBA and who could potentially take that baton from LeBron James to end off the show?
Well, I've been saying this for a while now. I've been saying this for years, even before even the thought of LeBron James retiring and things of that nature. It's the NBA is the International Basketball Association. It's, the international players are the top players of the team of the league. There is no American player that's going to be the face of the NBA. Sorry to say, Anthony Edwards, he could be, but Anthony Edwards could be. John Morant could be, but you have to look at the international players in the NBA: the Jokic, the Giannis, Luca, Victor Wembanyama. Now it's like these, and we're talking about Giannis and Luca, Jokic, Joel Embiid, and again, like these three guys alone won the recent MVPs. Luca is damn near on his way to winning one with the numbers and statistics he puts up there. Victor Wembanyama is going to win one shortly. The way his numbers are going to look when he finally figures it all out in the NBA, and it's only going to continue to have these international players taking over the NBA, and that's just what it is. Anthony Edwards and John Morant, both very electric, very energetic on off the air. I mean, in the press conference rooms and things of that nature. They hoop, they ball, but they're not better than the 4 or 5 players I just mentioned in terms of statistics, in terms of numbers. They don't reach that plateau, and they're not going to. And it's going to be tough to see another American player kind of take over the league because these international guys are that good. They are that amazing at their craft, right? And it's going to be tough. Even Shay's not even American; he's Canadian. So it's like there's a lot of guys. It's like it's just international. Unfortunately, these guys, the talent pool is way more vast than it was 10, 15 years ago. It just right now we have to wait for the next damn near Michael Jordan to come out and be this amazing player, averaging 35, 40 a game. But we might not get that
Do
from
you
an American
think,
player for some time.
Zay, real quickly, because obviously I'm not trying to open up Pandora's box. You got places to be, I got people to see. But you know, do you think that not having that Michael Jordan S player, and obviously it's going to be hard to have a Michael Jordan S player. Let's be real. LeBron James is the closest to that, right? It's not going to be a lot of LeBrons and Michaels and Kobe's, right? We're not going to set the bar that high, but to at least be on a pathway to something similar or a mini version, because we don't have that American. Do you think that that's playing a part in those terrible ratings that we are seeing in the NBA, and not just the game and people don't like the shot selection and all that? Do you think it's a lack of that guy that's American, that's on the trajectory of a Michael, of a Kobe, of a LeBron, that is non-existent, that's why the ratings are low? That's part of the reason why the ratings are low.
I don't think not having that one American player is the reason why. I think it's because we don't have that one automatically dominant player that we once had in the league. LeBron James was that guy, and it hasn't been a guy since basically his reign that he's had. We don't have that one guy, right? And people question Tatum, people question Jaylen Brown, they question Shea, they question all these guys. There's not one dominant player that fans all around the world are waiting to see and watch just be this humongous force on the court. And we haven't had that yet. We haven't had that since LeBron stepped into the scene and he's kind of took over and took the reins from Kobe and all these other guys. We haven't seen even a player like Shaq who's been dominant, and you want to see him go off a 40 a game. We haven't seen that in a very long time. Even the last player you could say we saw that from was the OKC trio, the James Hardens, the Westbrooks, the Kevin Durant, the ones when they finally separated and did their thing, they were scoring all these stuff. Zion, he messed everything up because he was supposed to be that big force that was
Ja,
hyped up.
Ja Morant messed it up too.
John
John Wick.
Morant with the gun stuff. Like it's LaMelo Ball. He was supposed to be the showing, even though he's having a great season right now. He's not winning basketball games, and the market that he's in isn't super international where everybody's like galvanizing to watch LaMelo Ball play. So it's just that we have yet to get that one huge force in the league to really show out, and I think that's the issue right now. That we can't be not seeing.
I saw that. I literally saw that when I got on the air as well. Yeah, I think not having that dude definitely plays a role. I think the stars make the league. When we watching games in general, any sport, whether it be boxing, whether it be NFL, whether it be NBA, chances are we are watching for that dude. We want to see that dude, that global icon, play. And obviously the NBA doesn't have that American. I mean, you look at the top 5 to 6 players, depending on how you rank your all-time list, those are Americans. Kareem, Kobe, Braun, MJ, Americans. Okay. And now you look at the NBA, you're like, who is this cat? Okay. Like, who is this white boy? Okay. From what's the name? Slovenia, whatever. Okay. Who is this Jokic dude? That's where we are. It's a new league, new time, a new show, another episode of 99 Pod, which is in the books. And Zay, if you want to leave the people with anything, whether it's regards or whatever, by all means.
I hope everyone enjoyed the show today, but please like and subscribe to the channel. Comment on your favorite topics, what you want to hear, what we left out. We are open to hearing anything you have to say, positive, negative, whatever you think it is. Respond to the comments, like and subscribe to the channel. We are everywhere. We're on YouTube, we're on TikTok. It's our time to go. The clock's ticking.
Yes, sir. TikTok. Make sure y'all follow me on TikTok. Make sure y'all follow me on YouTube, Real Lil TV, and we'll be on to the next show.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.